You've got a good problem. You are so crazy busy booked that you have no idea what to do when it comes to busy season. So if you are a senior photographer or photographer in general and you're feeling overwhelmed by the incoming busy season, this video is for you. Hey there, photography friends, Sean Brown here, and I'm really excited to get you this video today because as a lot of us are coming into our busy seasons, maybe you are facing the reality that there's a lot on your plate and you're wondering how to handle it all. So even if you aren't fully booked and you aren't fully busy yet, this video is still going to apply to you, so make sure you keep watching so that when you do have your first busy season, you know exactly what to avoid. For you guys who are new to the channel and are just tuning in, my name's Sean Brown. I'm a high school senior photographer and educator, and I've been doing high school senior photography for over 10 plus years, having had over 500 clients that I've photographed and built a six-figure business annually, and now I help other high school senior photographers do the exact same. And one of the things that I hear all the time is, what do I do when it's busy season? I'm overwhelmed, I'm feeling overworked, and photographers just kind of hit the point of burnout. But a busy calendar shouldn't mean that you have to feel burnt out. And so in this video, I'm going to teach you 3 of the strategies that I use in my very own business. So even when I'm teaching, educating, and running this YouTube channel, doing all my stuff with all my students and teaching them, I'm still running my high school senior photography business as well. And so I have to make sure that I've got all my ducks in a line to make sure that I'm not feeling overworked, that I still have time for myself. And these are actually the strategies that I use, that my students use, to make sure that they feel safe, that they feel like they're not drowning. So the very first thing, and this is where I see a lot of photographers go wrong, is that they don't create a schedule. And now this might seem like, okay, cool, I got a schedule, Sean. In fact, my schedule is really flippin' busy. So how does that help me? How's that supposed to help me? Well, that's the exact thing, is a lot of photographers have a schedule. They've got a bunch of shoots on their calendar, or maybe you hope that you have a bunch of photo shoots on your calendar. At the very least, you've got a lot of stuff on your to-do list. Hopefully you can relate to that. Just let me know in the comments if it feels like your to-do list is longer than ever and you're trying to figure out what to even do with your to-do list and get some stuff off your plate. The first thing that I see photographers go wrong is that they don't have a schedule that is properly created. And there is a little bit of a strategy to this. In fact, one of the things that I have done over the really busy times of my photography business is to make sure that I not only have a schedule and stick to it, but have a schedule that works for me. And typically what this looks like is a lot of photographers create their schedule and they just kind of throw a bunch of photo shoots into their calendar. It's like, all right, I got a day free, I'm going to schedule a client here. And this might look like a client emails you and says, hey, we need a photographer, and guess what? We need it like yesterday. And one of the things that we have the inclination to do is we schedule them, because guess what? You're afraid that if you don't, you're going to lose out on that booking, and that's the last thing that you want. You need that booking on your calendar, and you want to make sure that you get that client on the calendar, so you're just naturally going to make sure that we put them into your schedule and put them into your calendar. That's actually not what you want to do, because guess what? When you do that, all of a sudden, you eliminate family time, you eliminate personal time, rest and recovery time from all of the photo shoots that you're going to be doing, and now you've just kind of created this like hectic mess. And so one of the things, and we actually worked with one of our students on this very thing, is to create a schedule that's going to work for you at preferably the beginning of the season. And so that's why we're putting this video out now, is that there's still time to correct that before you get into your really crazy booking season. So as a photographer, I know that I'm going to dedicate certain days of the week to certain activities, meaning that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend, I know that those days of the week are going to correspond with certain activities in my business. So for instance, Mondays might be like an editing day, or maybe it's a retouching day, or maybe it's a day that you're going to have a photo shoot, or whatever it is. Tuesday's going to have a dedicated set of tasks. So maybe Tuesday is your social media day, or maybe it's your blogging day, or maybe what you're going to do is you're going to respond to all the inquiries or get everything done that you need to do in terms of packaging up orders, right? Hopefully you kind of get my drift. When you have the days of the week, what you can do is you can look at your schedule and set aside those days of the week for that activity. So I know in my own schedule, and you don't have to go off mine, this is just what I personally do. Monday is when I'm going to edit and I'm going to do image premieres, meaning that clients are coming into the studio and we're going to go over their images and order products that day and design everything. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is going to be when I am shooting. So in the morning, what I'll typically do is in the morning, I'll set some time aside to either do social media for the week, or maybe what I'll do is I'll do some admin in the morning, like checking emails, making sure that I'm responding to inquiries, those types of things. And then the rest of the day I know that is just for my photo shoot. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to schedule an image premiere for those days, because then what's going to happen is I'm going to have way too much in my schedule. I'm going to feel overworked. Wednesday's a shoot day, Thursday's the exact same. And then Friday is typically when I'm going to go through all of my photo shoots from the week, bring those aside, and then we're going to set those aside and basically create tasks, or I should say automations or delegations or anything like that. We'll get to that in a future video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through that entire week's worth of sessions, and I'm going to choose what images are ultimately going to be edited. But I'm not going to edit them that day. I'm going to do it the following week, because Monday is my editing day, right? So hopefully this makes sense. So if you're one of those photographers and you just kind of throw a bunch of stuff into your schedule and just kind of hope for the best, well, we want to stop doing that, and we want to make sure that we're changing that up. So we want to make sure that we're creating a schedule of what's happening and what is happening each day. The next thing is we're going to use a tool called batching. And batching is like my best friend in the entire world, because what batching does is it takes everything that you're doing and it puts it into the same basically calendar block. So if you Google Pomodoro technique, this is an example of batching, and it's really hyper efficient. So maybe you've experienced this where you have a bunch of stuff on your to-do list. Maybe it's like editing and emails and blogging, and then you've got to go back to answering emails, and then you've got a session, and then you've got to also prep orders. Well, in a to-do list, you might just look at that and just start checking off boxes. But with batching, what we are going to do is you're going to pick a certain number of those tasks and you're going to put it into basically time blocks on your calendar. So think of these as like 40-minute or 60-minute blocks where you're only answering emails in that set period of time. Or maybe you're only editing for that certain set period of time. And what this does is it actually helps you out tremendously, because it gets over what we would call context switching. And what context switching is it actually takes you and your brain 15, 20, 30 minutes, sometimes longer, to actually get into that activity that you're doing. So it's the same reason that when you go from answering emails to all of a sudden planning out all of your social media, it might feel like it's a little bit overwhelming, like you've got a lot to do, and it kind of takes you a while to get going. That is a real world example of context switching. So if you're able to take all of those tasks and put them into the same time block, for example, you're only checking email at this time, we eliminate that context switching, and it actually makes you much more efficient. So that's the exact reason why I also schedule my schedule the way that it is. So my calendar, I know that on Mondays, that's my like editing day or whatever. I'm only editing, so I don't have to worry about too much of that context switching. So batching's your friend. Try it out. One of the things that we do with our students, we actually teach this to our mastermind students inside of one of our streamlining your business trainings, and we teach them this technique. And what I would do is I would highly recommend trying it out, even if it's just for a couple of weeks, and just see how much more efficient, how much more energized you feel as a result of implementing batching. And it also, if you're curious on like, okay, hey, Sean, I'm not fully booked yet. How does this really apply to me? Before I get to the last point, I want to invite you to my free training, the Book More Seniors training. So if you're wondering how to book more clients this year, I'm going to put the link to that in the description below. You can grab your seat, grab one of the times that works for you. And this is exactly how these photographers that are in their busy season, that are feeling overwhelmed by having so much good stuff. It's kind of like one of our students, Deanna, who almost like shut down her business because it was going so well that she was like, what do I do? I'm drowning in all the work. Well, these are the strategies that we talked about with her as well, of doing things like scheduling and batching and making sure we have all that. But first, you got to get to that point. So if you're not booking at least 10 to 15 clients every single year for high school senior photography clients at a $2,000 sales average, that training is for you. So that'll be down in the description. Now, the last technique, tip, whatever you want to call it, that I'm going to talk to you about is a personal one. And that is, don't break your boundaries. Don't break your personal boundaries. Don't break your business boundaries when it comes to what's happening on what days. So you've been intentional. You've put together your schedule. You've put together your basic days that of what's going to happen when. Now what's next is you need to stick to those. And this is kind of where it gets messy if you don't do this, because what's going to happen is inevitably you're going to get a client that wants to book a certain date, wants a weekend slot. And if you've blocked out weekends for you and your family, you need to stick to that, because if you don't, you're going to burn out. You're going to face overwhelm. You're going to face exhaustion. And so one of the best things that I've ever done in my business is when we set our schedule, those are the days. If at the beginning of your booking season, you set it up and you've got, hey, I've got 6 slots in August for these dates because I'm taking a family trip and this and that, you have 6 slots that you can book clients in. That's the schedule that you've created. And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of photographers do the first steps. They create their calendar, they start batching, and then all of a sudden clients creep in and we change everything that we're doing. All of a sudden we're scheduling an image premiere or an ordering session on a day we're not supposed to. All of a sudden a client needs a gallery before you would originally have it turned around. And so you take some time that would be admin work and you put it for editing. And now all of a sudden your business is chaotic, your business is a mess, and it doesn't do you any favors because you show up to photo shoots feeling exhausted, overworked, overwhelmed. It's not doing you any favors, and it's not doing your clients any favors either. So stick to the boundaries, stick to the schedule you created, stick to the batching, the days that you're doing certain tasks, not mixing up tasks in between. And if you follow these tips, I promise you that you will get through busy season. I should also say, don't overbook yourself. Raise your prices if you're feeling overworked. Those go without saying, but these tips are going to save you, assuming that you're properly priced, that you're booking the number of client sessions that you want to. And this is exactly how I survive busy season every single year. So thanks so much for watching the channel. If you haven't already had a chance, make sure you've hit the subscribe button, smash that so that we can keep getting you videos on senior photography education just like this. Send me a DM on Instagram at seniorphotoeducation if this was helpful for you and which tips you're most excited to implement. And also drop a comment and let me know which of the tips you're going to start doing. Are you going to start scheduling? Are you going to start batching? And maybe you're even going to start following your personal boundaries that you set out at the beginning of the year. So thanks so much for watching. We're going to put another video that you might like right here. So make sure to hit that and check out the next video.